Hello, welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. So I did a video recently, I think it was like 2 or 3 days ago, on Spawn. I've been covering this pretty extensively because, everyone who knows about this, or at least has followed it and is a fan of the concept, will know that this has been going on for 10, 15, 20 years. Like, it's been going on forever. That Todd McFarlane has been promising a Spawn reboot. Now, I followed it because I'd love to see a Spawn film. I really, really would love to see it. I would think it would be fantastic. I think it would be great counter-programming versus the superhero narrative that we have of today, being very clean and prim and proper. I'd love to see an R-rated superhero film. We've started to get some of them. There have been some out there. Brightburn was there, Joker, and there's probably some others as well. I mean, The Boys, for instance, it's R-rated, it's superhero-esque, and I think it works very, very well. So I've been following it for that, and then there's been lots of concerns throughout the history of this Spawn reboot. A lot of concerns. Now, the first major concern, I think, came for a lot of people when Todd McFarlane came out and said, I want it to be like Jaws. Now, that's not inherently bad at all. At all. A Spawn film being like Jaws could work really, really well, right? Jaws is fantastic. You see the creature, but, he's the title character, but he's not the point of view character, right? So you see the story of Jaws through the fishermen and the shark chasers and things like that, and yet Jaws is still there. So it can work, and it can work really, really well. Now, there were some concerns that came out surrounding that because it started to sound like he wouldn't be a big part of it. Now, that's not what you want, is it? You don't want a Spawn film or a Jaws film where they're not actually a big part of it. Now, that was further solidified because Todd McFarlane came out and said, hey, our actual main characters are going to be Twitch, right? It's told through his eyes. Twitch is the cop in Spawn. And that was going to be played by Jeremy Renner. We had Jamie Foxx playing Al Simmons' Spawn, right? Kind of works. A lot of people didn't like the casting of Jamie Foxx. Then it started to descend even further because we had the BLM situation this year. That kind of rose to prominence. Very anti-police sentiment was forced into the mainstream media. It's not actually that widespread. The majority of the general populace doesn't actually believe we should defund the police, and we don't have anti-police sentiments. That's generally speaking the majority. But then Blumhouse came out, who is on board for this, and said that, it's happening, but we need to get it right. And when that happened, I thought to myself, this is definitely going down a real bad path. Why? What could there possibly be? What could it possibly be that's bad, that's going to get people's backs up? There's nothing in Spawn that is pro or against BLM or any of that. It didn't seem to make any sense to me. Spawn as a titular character is a black guy. Twitch, yes, he's a policeman, but I don't see the correlation there. So that really concerned me and a lot of people. And then recently we had Michael Jai White come out and say that Todd had pitched to him that basically Spawn was going to be like an ethereal fog. And I did a video recently on that, and I was like, that sounds dumb. That sounds real dumb. Now, ladies and gents, I do have the script. Now, this is the 2017 version of the script. And I'm going to pick through some bits and pieces that I just thought was a joke. Now, I've done these kind of videos before, and a lot of people haven't believed that I've had the script, even though further down the line it's been proved correct and accurate. Terminator Dark Fate, for instance. The Predator, for instance. To name but a few. Godzilla King of the Monsters. There's quite a few that I've been privy to. Now, the latest has been Spawn. And I've got it, and like I said, it's the 2017 version. Apparently it's the final draft. It's the final version, but it's the second draft of the final version. And it's not exactly a long script. It's 116 pages. And I will say this, for those that are really concerned about Spawn being in the film, and that he wouldn't take, front and centre, and he would be, this Jaws character that we actually don't see, your concerns are very well founded. Now, I've finished the script now. I got it the other day and I started reading it. And the first thing, and I tweeted out about this, so if you want to follow me on Twitter for exclusive little bits and pieces of anything, please do, at Mr. H Reviews. There's a link in the description box. And I tweeted out, look, it's not very good. It's very 90s, and it is very, very 90s. It's told wholeheartedly from the perspective of Twitch and the police. Now that's not bad, but it is bad when you then compare it to Blumhouse coming out and saying, we need to get it right. We need, in this day and age, we need to get it right. No, you don't. Being told from the perspective of Twitch is fine, but the fact that you're now scared and concerned to do that, there's a problem there, isn't there? That's a problem. That's an issue. Because it's Blumhouse buying into this anti-police sentiment. And that's real, real bad. Now, Spawn is not really seen. It's not as R-rated as I would have liked. And I've got a few excerpts here to show you and discuss. Now, there's full spoilers here, obviously. Very, very clearly there's full spoilers. And I will have some bits of the script on the page so we can have a look at it together. But the full plot is basically Twitch working with his partner, chasing down some people. We start to see a hint at Spawn here and there. And then his kid goes missing. He starts digging where potentially he shouldn't be digging. And his kid goes missing, she's dead. And then it leads to his marriage breaking down, and he needs to go and figure this all out. Right? He needs to figure this whole situation out. And it culminates in basically Spawn coming to him saying, we need an army of people like you and me to fight these men, because if good men do nothing, then what's going to happen? Obviously that's the situation. That's basically it. There is some anti-police sentiment in here. Some of the police are working with the criminals. They have an agreement. Police corruption. So, that was obviously the 2017. Maybe it was updated a little bit for now. I can't confirm or deny that. And you rarely see Spawn. He is pictured as cockroaches, rats, and shadow. You see Al. There is... Totting it all up in terms of the script, there's probably about 5 to 10 minutes, 15 minutes at max, of Spawn on screen. But you rarely see him actually doing what he is supposed to be doing to the criminals, and it's a shame. I will say this, the opening, so obviously when we start to build a narrative and when you're trying to make a film, you do try to continue... you try to open as you mean to go on, right? And the first introduction of Spawn is he's disguised as a bed. Hashtag Spawn is a bed. I want to see that trending, or at the very least, I want to see me tagged in it. So Spawn is a bed. I don't quite... I understand the need to hide your character, right? If you're making a new horror film, you're making a new character from scratch, never before been seen. It's a villain. It's a big horror-esque character that we need to learn to really get terrified with. Spawn isn't that character. Spawn isn't that character. We as the viewer need to see Spawn because we think he's cool. The characters in the film that need to feel terrified of Spawn, those are the ones that don't need to see him. But we, as the viewer, and we know what Spawn looks like, we want to see Spawn, we barely get to see him. And the first instance of seeing Spawn is he's disguised as a bed. And this sort of theme continues throughout this script. So as you can see here, he predominantly manifests himself as wind. Yes. Predominantly during this film, he manifests himself as wind. Exterior alleyways. The force of the wind now buffets Officer Gaynor, blowing dirt and dust so hard he's barely able to see in front of him. The noise now sounds like wailing wild animals. Twitch comes around the corner, sees nothing. Right, fine. So he's in his own little weird ethereal world there. Gaynor clears his eyes. Something sinister begins to morph behind him, then moves upwards off screen. So we barely see anything there. Gaynor tilts his head towards a sound overhead. His eyes widen. Something huge and horrifying descends upon him. It's Spawn. This is building towards a horrific R-rated scene, isn't it? No. The officer tries to scream, but he doesn't get the chance. Multiple close cuts of the officer horribly being attacked. We can't make it out, but it's brutal nonetheless. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic, Todd. That's bad, isn't it? Come on now. So we don't get to see this horrible R-rated scene. Great. And then again, like, I racked my brains on, like, what was the issue with the police? What was the issue with this in this modern day situation? We need to be careful of what we're doing with this character, apparently, according to Blumhouse. And I wrapped my head on that, and I was like, what is this? And then this came up in the script. Police don't move. I didn't do nothing. Very 90s. Then why are you running? Because he told me. And when a fucking cop tells a black man to run, you run. Really now? Really? Come on. It's pandering, isn't it? It's very much like, what is that? And then there's even like some weird... Todd is trying to appease everyone, because this is the thing. Todd is a multi-millionaire, right? He's worth a lot of money, over 100 million, if I remember rightly. He's worth a lot of money. And looking at this film wouldn't cost that much. You could get it done on a budget, like you really could, because Spawn's barely in it. But he's trying to please everyone. So you've got Blumhouse doing the anti-police sentiment, right? You've got them, you know, playing up to the BLM narrative of, well, you know, when a police tells a black man to run, you run, like all this kind of stuff. And then there's even some like misandry in here. I kid you not. The big dude turns on the shower and takes off his shirt. We see tattoos all over his arms, back and neck. As he washes in the shower, he notices the water getting dirty near the drain. It's coming from his tattoos as they smear and run down his arm. Each time he tries cleaning them, another tattoo appears on his arm, each one an alphabet letter. He's freaked out as he keeps scrubbing himself. Then he sees hundreds of bugs at his feet. Oh yeah, that's Spawn, Bugman. The lights go out. He turns to see the black skeletal ghost of Spawn inches from his face. He jumps from the shower, the lights return, and looks in the mirror. Spawn's gone. It shows his entire body, including his face, covered with tattoos, spelling the words, "I hate women." Just some casual misandry in there. This film is never getting made, and if it does get made, and it's from this script, it's garbage. Total garbage. Absolute crap. Really, really crap. I hate to break it to you, but there you go. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. If you want to see me do some more videos on this, if they don't get struck off, because Todd goes on a little bit of an outrage. I'll tell you what though, Todd, mate, if you're watching this, come on the channel and defend yourself. Let's have an interview. Come on the channel, let's talk about the script. Because I know you wrote this. I know you wrote this. Tell me how it's not 90s. Tell me how it's good that the point of view characters, you know, and us, the viewer, never see Spawn. But, you know, and the villains don't see him either. Tell me why that's good. Sell it to me. Sell it to everyone. Because at the moment, it's not doing very well. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, though. Take care.